Hey, welcome back to Icon. My name's Kirk, and I'm one of the coaches. And today we have a special sort of change in our what you've been seeing on our YouTube channel because we have another coach in the room.
Yes, we do.
This is Mitch Santala. And the purpose of this video today is to introduce you to him. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Mitch on this channel as we start to expand what we're doing and the projects that we're working on. But today, I just wanted to get you familiar with him. So we're going to have some conversation here for you. Mitch, first of all, give us just a brief sketch of your background and who you are and what you've done.
Yeah. Well, currently, I am the CEO of Executive Scheduling Associates. So we are about 17 years into a service company where we support salesmen and women in the financial industry, working with financial products, investment products, and we support them by scheduling their appointments, hence the name Executive Scheduling Associates.
That's awesome.
So
tell me a little bit about how many, 17 years.
Yep.
About how many employees do you guys have?
We're about 110 employees or so, give or take.
Where are they located mostly?
Yeah. So we're East Coast to West Coast, all across the United States. Yep. So we're in every geographical region and time zone. I think we're in 16 states right now that we hire employees in, and most of them are working from home. So that has been our business model from the beginning, from startup back in 2007. Wow. So we didn't have much of an impact there when COVID hit us for sheltering in place, although we did have many of the other impacts that we had to navigate. That wasn't one of them, thankfully.
That's cool.
And then I have 15 years prior to my starting a business, a ministry experience. So my wife and I were missionaries with Youth with a Mission for about 10 years. And then we served as pastors here in Redding, California for Risen King Community Church. And then now we serve continually since 2014 as volunteer pastors at the Stirring Church. So we're kind of a wide gamut of nonprofit and church ministry and for-profit, and it's all mashed together, and feel like it's something that's really giving me some insight, some experience, ways to kind of bridge those worlds together.
That's awesome. So why coaching? Why make this change now?
Well, I feel like coaching for me is something I have always been doing, and it's just now I get a title called coach, right? I think my approach when I think of, as I've entered into leadership over the years, my approach has been especially responsive and then also delivering a coaching kind of style, if you will. I really believe in that idea of pushing people forward, championing and encouraging them as much as possible to own the process of becoming who they're designed to be, their potential. So that style, that approach is something that I think is just embedded in me. Now I get to join a team where I carry that title, executive coach, and it's kind of just this fun culmination of all the years. I think what I love about coaching is the sense that if you're doing it the way that I enjoy it, is you're really trying to discover what's deep inside a person, the dream, what's in their heart, and then helping them pull that out. Sometimes for the first time, they see it and hear it, and they look at it for the first time, and watching them come alive, and then actually beyond just getting excited, stepping in and embracing and becoming that, I feel like there's no greater joy than to be that in someone's life.
Yeah. That was a lot of my experience, and that transition that you're describing into coaching had a lot of that same language as I was discovering that many, many years ago. And it's the same idea. I kind of found out I'd kind of always been doing it. And I was able to sort of strip away many of the other things.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was just left with this thing we could just call it coaching now. Yeah. One of the things I find fascinating about this transition for you is it's as if you've always been, what we just said, as if you've always been doing it. And so as you've started to build a client load and start to work with people, it's just been instantly beneficial to them.
Right.
As I talk to the clients you're working with, they're like, "Oh yeah, that was fantastic."
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. That's good feedback to get.
You think I would have said that before now?
Yeah,
right?
That's right. No, but I do appreciate that, and you do feel a sense of when you're connecting with a client, and I do feel like now I have the years where it's not just a passion of mine and a desire or maybe a disposition, but I have some of the experience now to come behind that, to maybe offer something of value. And you know, I don't know about you, but like for me, I think as I grow into my 50s and I'm looking at life through another season, another new beginning, a new chapter, I have some goals, you know, and one of those goals is how do I spend my time in the most meaningful way? And there are a lot of ways to use your time, but for me, impacting others, championing them, and seeing them maybe go further, farther than I might ever go, feels like a great way to spend my time during this season.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, quick rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
What are you reading right now?
What am I reading? Oh gosh, you always ask the titles, right? So I read books and I'm the worst at remembering titles. So, Why Humans Behave the Way They Behave, or Why We Do What We Do.
There it is.
And
I
it's
should know
by,
this book. That's right.
it's by DC.
Yeah.
Incredible book.
Yeah.
Again, when sometimes you read books and you realize the author is writing out thoughts and using words and strings of words that you've always felt, but it's like you're hearing them for the first time. So just that idea of intrinsic motivation and this sense of we are most fulfilled and most successful, or we thrive the most in our lives when we are free to do what we feel is in us and we're not being controlled by outside forces. And so that sense of autonomy and mastery and just having that, I just feel like to me that's always been me. So here's a book, probably, I don't know, 40 years of intense work, and he's synthesized it down into, I don't know, 150 pages.
Yeah, it's a small book.
It's an incredible book.
Dense,
So that's what I'm reading now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Favorite TV show right now?
Favorite TV show right now? Oh man, let me get, the first thing that just came to my mind was the Goldbergs. And I'm not watching it right now, but the idea of watching the Goldbergs just in this last year and coming aware of them for the first time, it was like it was taking me back to my childhood, the 80s, all the nostalgia, the mom, the dad, the living room. It was just this idea of this is what my life was like growing up as a child.
I haven't seen that, so now I have to watch that. If you were an animal, what would you be?
If I was an animal, what would I be? Oh, I think I'd be some type of bird, probably an eagle, because eagles are just cool and like kind of dominant, you know?
Yeah.
But the idea to be able to just soar and see out far and then come in low and swoop without ever being seen and maybe just get back up to 30,000 feet or 10,000 feet or whatever.
If you were to stand on the top of the mountain and yell something as loud as you possibly could, what would you yell?
Wolverines.
Really?
Yeah, Wolverines from Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Wolverines, yeah.
So why?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Oh, I mean, it's just the first thing that came to my mind, and I wasn't prepared for that.
Not
So
at
I
all.
just think of like, that movie is epic. Again, part of my childhood. Wolverines, the original Red Dawn, not the retake.
I didn't see the retake.
Yeah,
Was it-
so
was
the
it good?
original,
Was it not?
no, it wasn't good.
Yeah,
It didn't live up to it at all.
All right. That's an official Icon coaching lack of support for a movie.
There you go. That's right.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
Food. Well, all things Mexican. I can't
All
pick-
of it?
I pretty much like anything Mexican
Sweet.
food. And I could
Okay, so
and
boil it down, like bring it down. Which if you're sitting in a restaurant,
if I'm sitting in a restaurant,
you're ordering.
yeah.
What are you
So
getting?
what are the odds tipping toward? I think something carne asada most of the time. So whether it's a carne asada plate or tacos, I'm going to work it in somehow. But usually when I go to Mexican food, it's whatever I see in the moment that is like coming off the menu. I tend to order it because
so something gets highlighted and you just
something gets highlighted. Yeah, rolled taquitos with shredded beef. I like more beef.
Okay.
When I'm doing the Mexican food.
All right.
Just think they do it right.
All right. Well, this is Mitch. We're thrilled to have you on the team.
Thank you.
I just want to tell a little bit of the story of how you came to be on our team.
Yeah.
So Hope and we've been growing this thing over time. And I turned to Hope and I said, Hope Seth, we'll introduce her here in a little bit. But I turned to her and I said, I think we're ready for an next coach. So I thought that would take like 4 months,
Yeah.
5 months to really just let it be someone great. And she looks at me, she goes, are you sure we're ready? I'm like, yeah, no, we're not actually ready, but this is going to take a long time. So let's just start doing the, recruiting, and we'll just put the word out. We're just going to put the word out there and start talking to people, and it'll emerge in time, but we should probably start that now. So Hope and I end up at this event, and I run into Mitch. I'm like, and our circles overlap a lot.
Yeah.
But we hadn't hung out a lot individually. And so we just, casually, hey, and he asks, what's going on? What's new? So here we go. I'm going to start just broadcasting. First time I think I'd said it. I said, well, we're doing great. We're growing. Everything's going good at Ikon. We're probably ready for our next coach. And he nods his head. Okay. Well, later that afternoon, you go or talk to Hope. Hey, Hope, what's going on? And she does the same thing. Well, yeah, going great. Ikon's, it's been a great journey, and we're probably looking for our next coach. Sure enough, the next day, I get a text from Mitch. Let's have coffee. And I'm like, that's interesting. And it didn't even dawn on me. And sure enough, we sit down and start talking, and boom, we had our next coach.
Yeah.
That was
Interesting.
about 6-7 months ago.
If you would have waited longer, you might have got a greater result.
That wasn't the point of
No,
the story
I'm
I was trying to tell. But to me, it feels like
the timing.
The timing was right.
Exactly.
It emerged beautifully.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a better process and a better ad.
Well, what you don't know about that necessarily is I've been on probably a 1.5 year journey of trying to ask that next question of, I'm happy with my business. We're rolling into our 17th year. It's going great. But I also have this desire to do new things. And I know enough now at this stage of my life that my boredom or my curiosity can ruin a good thing.
Right.
So I don't want to deviate my business into, trying to chase some of my creative, desires or itches. So it became this thing of, well, what else? What's next? And so the only way that I felt I would potentially step into the coaching world was exactly the way Ikon coaching is structured. Like I knew that I wouldn't want to be the solo coach who's trying to say, I'm Mitch and I have all these years of experience and listen to me. And, I might have 2 weeks of really good material and then it's going to run out, right? So for me, it was, if I'm going to do something like that, I would do it with the team. So it was fun to think of joining a team and knowing that you had already built a framework. I knew that I didn't want to create a framework, but you've spent the last 10 to 12 years really cooking up a framework. So in learning that even more and feeling really aligned to that, I knew that was something I can join. And then just running with people rather than running alone too. I feel the chemistry of, I want to be challenged. I want to continue to grow. And having you and Hope, who I admire and respect a ton, to show up as well, I feel like it pushes me to really be my best and continue to deliver my best in these next years. So it's a perfect fit.
That's been fun.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like to meet Mitch yourself, you can do that at any time. All you have to do is email him at mitch@ikoncoaching.com. Mitch spelled exactly like it sounds, and Ikon is spelled IKON. So mitch@ikoncoaching.com. And if you want to let him know how much you love him, like really appreciate who he is and what he's all about, and it's not that he needs the gratification, but if you want to give it to him,
You can text Kirk and here's his cell phone number.
no, you hit the subscribe button. We're currently, as of today, I don't know when this comes out, but we're literally at 99 subscribers.
There you
like,
go.
get us to 3 digits.
Yes.
Just get us to 3 digits.
Mom, if you're listening, please subscribe.
All right. Enough. There you go.